and welcome back to the U Up Podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I'm Jared Freed. It is so good to be back here with you, Jordana. How are you? This is coming out on 8/28 for
Yes, 8/28.
the subscribers, whatever it is, end of August.
It's coming out. You know what day it is.
You're in
It's
Sofra.
out, yeah.
You're in South of France.
I'm in Antibes at this point.
Antibes.
Yeah.
Love Antibes.
Yeah, I'm very excited. So I've got this 10-day trip to France.
Yes.
The first part is like Saint-Tropez. I'm going with two other couples.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's the clubby part.
Yeah, it's going to be a party. So I'm excited to like party.
Let it loose.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And it's funny because I'm about to be 35 soon. Not to drag my birthday along for like 4 weeks because we're gonna talk about it. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it.
You're gonna get when we talk about it. You get 2 weeks of your birthday when you're a podcast host.
3. You get the
taping.
Yes.
The release.
The actual
birthday. Yeah. You're right.
Just such a weird age to be like I'm going because I've been doing this since I was like 25.
Listen,
it's like going to Europe and partying.
I hear you. As a 39-year-old who went to Ibiza this year.
You get it.
I get it. I think we have to stop. I can't tell you how to feel.
Right.
But I think we compare. The comparison game is fraudulent. It's first of all. The first person you compare yourself is your parents. Our parents grew up in a different time than us, and it has only gotten more different. Like technology,
ease of travel. It's like the golden age of travel.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, we hold ourselves, I think us as millennials we're the generation that's going from analog to digital. Mm-hmm. We're the last generation to know what it's like to be without a phone and the internet.
Right.
So we're kind of holding ourselves. We feel a lot of guilt. I think that because I feel this guilt that I'm not doing it the way my parents did it. My dad, I'm 39. My dad.
Much?
What's that?
Am I too much?
Am I too much? Am I not doing it right?
Yeah.
My dad I was 12 when my dad was 39.
Wow.
Right? Yeah. 11, 12 years old.
Yeah. I mean, when my mom was my age, she had 6 kids.
Yeah. And you're off partying in Saint-Tropez. She wishes she was you.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe.
But I'm just saying that's probably not right for me to even say.
I think especially as a woman, though. Maybe a little different as a man, just because men just seem ageless for some reason. But I do think
we're not reminded of our age all the time.
And also, you're not reminded of your age. Your fashion choices don't change that much by your age. Like you might still wear the same outfit you would wear in your 20s.
Right.
And I think for women, there's this feeling of like, I don't want to dress too young, but I don't want to dress too old, but I want to like dress how I feel, but I also like don't want to look stupid dressing like I'm a Gen Z.
These are things that I hear from women that I'm like, ugh, that sounds exhausting. But you're right. I hear this. The sentiment you're giving is, I'm sure there's people nodding along with this podcast right now. I don't doubt it at all.
I'm trying to come up with these outfits.
And I will say, if I see a woman wearing out of age outfits, I notice.
You notice. Well,
yeah,
that's the thing.
do.
Right. So it's a tough. I think this is for some. If 35 is the hardest for any woman in any way, it's finding an outfit where you don't seem like super fucking lame and like elder millennial, but also like not trying to be in a generation that you don't exist, that you're not actually in.
I think that is a great point.
No,
who do you have any Instagram accounts that you follow that you feel nails that style? Let's go to Plug City, because I do think some people are just really good at that. Like, 35. I agree with you. As a guy, I don't think about it, but like, I do understand what you want.
Right. No, I don't. I mean, probably should. That's a great idea. I should follow some accounts to give me some inspiration for that. But it's hard to find like someone with like your exact body type, with their exact sensibility. So I usually just kind of cop out and wear like a t-shirt, jeans.
T-shirt and jeans. Well,
like
that's
timeless
for me. That's why I've moved towards like watch.
Yeah,
I think that's why men do get into the watch game, because you can go simple.
Right.
And then dress it up with a watch.
I like that.
Where it's like, that's an adult.
A watch will show how established you are.
Right. So it's, again, easier point for men, easier for us.
Well, on that note of what you said before, if you're going on a date and you see a woman, let's say, what's the average age of the woman you go on a date with?
About 17. No.
Canceled. Over.
No, I would say I go out with someone,
Like
you know,
32?
my age range on the apps that I have just deleted, per your
Yes,
recommendation, was 28 to 41.
Okay. So let's say the average at 33.
Which that's wide. I 33, yeah. 33 would be a hot age for me.
Sure, you're right.
33 sounds about right.
33. Are you going on like what are they wearing? Like, do you notice? Does it feel like there's people
Too busy
trying
looking
to,
at their tits. No.
Are there people trying to look like younger? Are there people like? Do you notice a fashion style? Like, what is the? Are you like you just said? I notice when people are dressing sort of not for their.
I don't
age.
think I've ever been out with someone where I've noticed that, like, wow, who do they think they are? This is Gen Z-ish.
But you just said you think that
I
about
do.
some
Listen,
people.
I do, but to me, they're always older than that. That
Okay.
I notice it a little bit, but not in 30s. I really no. I think like
What's your favorite like thing to see on a first date?
oh,
outfit
you know what I love? I thank you for bringing this up.
Manicure. You said you recently liked.
I
you
love a
noticed that?
manicure.
Okay.
I love the body. The shirt,
Body.
a body, the shirt
pulse?
that snaps on the vagina.
Oh, bodysuit.
The bodysuits are so
Bodysuit,
fucking
yeah.
hot. I think that fits a woman so well.
I
'cause,
love a good bodysuit. Yeah.
and men.
Pumps.
Have you ever see the thing where there's a T-shirt that men can buy that like snaps underneath so that you don't have to keep tucking it in? Like I think that's out there.
A male
It is,
bodysuit.
I would never. I don't wear. I'm just saying, men. The idea of that bodysuit is it cuts a woman right. I have been with women who were in the bodysuit where they'll take off their pants and they're just in the. I'm like, that is the most attractive thing in the world. Like to me,
It's always a little awkward to take off. I think. No.
yeah. Listen, I don't want to unbutton under my balls. Yeah, that's fucking weird. I can
Yeah.
understand it's uncomfortable, but the bodysuit I think is like. It cuts women very well.
I
I
love
think
a
it's
good
very
bodysuit.
flattering. That's my flattering is the word better than whatever the fuck I just said.
So that's your favorite thing on a date, to see a bodysuit.
Bodysuit with jeans.
That's hot. Classic.
It's hot, classic.
Timeless.
Well, again,
What do the
nice
kids
watch.
say? Demure. Mindful.
I hate that so fucking much.
Everywhere. It's everywhere.
It's so quickly, and let me say this: I don't hate it from the person who, the woman who came up with it, who's doing it. She's great.
Yeah.
She is awesome. Funny, gets the joke, has the timing. It's the people copying her.
It's everyone.
And I can't stand
I just did it.
I know. But you did it acknowledging what are the
Yes.
people saying. I don't know. The way you just did it is not the way that gets me angry.
Okay.
I was on a dating app and someone said it on the dating app. I go, gone, unmatched, done.
They didn't do it right.
Just the nature of like, I don't know, it's just hackery. It's like
Right.
this person is doing it well and funny and with, tongue firmly in cheek. And like I saw a video from them the other day and she's crying and she goes, it's just so overwhelming. And I don't know. And then at the end of it, she goes, and I'm living my dream, bitch. And like, I loved it. I was so happy for this person. And then all the copycats, it's like, do you think you're creative? This person's creative. You're a hack.
Do you know how many push notifications of marketing emails that like I have with that?
The demure, and
Right.
it happens so quickly. This is the thing about like, Brad Summer, gone.
Yeah.
Demure, cutesy, and
I'm still not even sure I fully get it. That's
I get it. I watched her videos. They're great.
okay.
The idea that like I'm above other people with this like funny look at how other people act and I act the right way. I love it. I'm like such a fan.
Right.
And then I see other people use it and I'm like, especially when I see like hot people with a following use it.
Right. This isn't for you.
Fuck off. I don't know. I'm sorry to be Mr.
I didn't even get
I
here.
am so negative lately. I'm sorry.
Are you? I feel
feel
like you're bringing good energy.
I'm trying. I'm trying. This is as much as I'll give. I don't know. I deleted the apps when you told me to
Good.
do it.
I think that'll improve your mood.
And now-
when did you delete them?
a day ago.
Okay, so it's gonna take a while
Yeah.
for the effects to kick in.
Well, you're right, because I keep scrolling over on my phone to find
The
it.
Phantom app.
A phantom.
scroll,
I'm
yeah.
looking. Yeah, right. And then it's not there, and I have to go, Jared, you're out of your fucking mind.
The apps make billions off of just that thing.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
thing. I need to like find another thing to do. Like, or I should actually be writing the book that I'm supposed to be writing. There's
Fuck that.
Yeah, there's other things to do. It was such a distraction. It's weird to delete it because you're like, basically, you just disappear off of people's page. Like,
Did you
I was-
delete it the right way as we've learned how to do?
I think I did. I deleted Field. I deleted Hinge. I'm off of all of them. I was just like, it was doing more negative than good. But I was talking to like nice people, but then you find, even when you're talking to nice people, you're like still going to the well.
Right.
You don't just go on the app to talk to one person. You go on the app to swipe, 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 talk, 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 swipe, 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 talk, 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 goodbye.
Right.
And that's me being honest, like, and
I mean,
so
is that offensive?
no, I just think if I'm doing it, they're doing it. But if you're out there and you're like, I don't know, but I'm saying I had these nice conversations. I have to just leave them.
Where'd he go?
Right.
Someone might call the police.
Well, I had a woman DM me. She's like, I didn't get to get back to you.
Okay.
And that was nice.
All right. Well, she's taking it off the app.
Took a little initiative. I like that. I wrote back to her. She hasn't written back to me. But it's, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. If they want to find you, they'll find you.
I am easily to find.
They want it badly enough.
That's right.
They'll make it. If she wanted to, she would.
Should we get in the emails? Should we
Let's
jump
do it.
right in?
Let's just jump right in. Dear J&J, thank you for all you do, Feather. Feather, I'm a 32-year-old female moving from a large East Coast city to a small Midwest city in 2 months.
Love it.
I'm so excited for the move, but it's a bittersweet moment as I live out my last 6 weeks in a city that has been my home from my adulthood.
Twirl around and throw that beret to the sky.
This summer, I naturally thought it would be a cool way to say goodbye to my adult hometown by re-downloading Hinge to go on dates I've always wanted to try.
Love it.
Eat, pray, love. I love it. While I highly recommend the approach, it's fun and weirdly helped me create closure. I'm now left in a predicament I believe J&J must help me untangle. I met someone, and after 2 months of dating, he has shared he is quote-unquote all in, and he wants to date long distance when I leave in October.
Okay.
The dream.
Yep.
I'm worried I will regret giving up on this person because of the principle of the idea of long distance. But the idea of committing to a long distance to a person in a city I've worked so hard to leave the last couple of years feels antithetical to my priority list. Is antithetical a really word?
I don't understand half the words she's using.
If and when-
Principle, antithetical.
Right,
She really went to the thesaurus for this
Seriously. If and when we break up, I would be so hard on myself for trying to make it work with someone from the East Coast city when I could have jump-started my dating life in the place I'm now calling home. My brain and heart keep yelling, long distance is the wrong distance. With all that being said, my gut is nagging me saying I will regret not giving love a chance. I've talked with this person about it because we have a great, healthy communication style, sobs and tissue over how happy I am about all of this. But I get it. He can only say he is all in and be there to watch me figure out if I'm actually open to dating long term. I feel like an asshole for letting him be on standby, but I guess all I can see doing is dating until the next part of the relationship hits us this fall. Help and hugs and overthinking, Betch.
Thank you for the email. I think it's a wonderful email
Great
because it brings up something that reading this made me realize. I think downloading an app before you move as a woman is the best thing you could ever do.
Totally agree.
It plays,
She has a male mindset.
and he is free of the pressure of like, what's next?
Mm-hmm.
So it really helps them both.
Even the playing field.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, whatever, I'm leaving. I'll have my fun. He's like, oh, we're just going to like chill and get to know each other without this like pressure of like, what are we coming around the corner?
Right. Well, it does exactly what we always say you should do, which is so much harder in theory than it is in practice, which is not be so tied to the end result. To do something and be able to have fun with it is so different than doing something with like, it's not a success unless it's a success. Like she's not doing this for that, which makes her better at it.
Right. And now she's fighting against the medicine that is actually helping her. Mm-hmm. She's listening to a dating show.
She's not recognizing its place in the whole thing. Also.
Right. And it sounds like she wants to be in a relationship.
Right.
And she's got it right there in her hand. And because it doesn't go exactly how she imagined it, she's about to throw it away.
Totally.
It's crazy.
And
this is when long distance should happen.
Yes.
Not, hey, I'm in New York all the time. Let's go on a date. I'm in Alaska. I'm here all the time.
Right.
Those people are delusional and using this situation as what is like to like inform them. This situation's different than changing your location on Hinge and saying, well, I'm in New York all the time.
Yeah.
This situation is you guys have met, you've gotten to know each other, you like each other, no pressure, hanging out.
Mm-hmm. And she's forgotten, like, I think the negative parts that she was experiencing while being single, not trying to, and trying to like lock it in.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think this is classic case of that. Like she in her mindset, this reminds me of like a guy I was dating senior year of college who was a year younger than me. And in my head, I was like, I can't be with this guy. I'm about to move to New York City.
Yeah. He's a baby.
Yeah. Well, I mean, or I'm like, I'm about to be the freshman of an entire city.
I got a whole bunch of cock waiting for me.
Yeah. Like, why would I date a guy who's still in college? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Right. And I think you forget. I mean, then I hadn't been dating very long. I'm 21, but then you get into the new experience and you're like, oh, it's actually not as easy once I'm trying really hard to do this. It's much easier when I'm like, I don't give a shit. This is fun. I'm going to be graduating soon.
And that's the thing. When you get into like, and what you're bringing up is like what you should do. Mm-hmm. There's no should. The idea that like she brings up her principles of like dating. I don't want to do like principles are gone. I don't know what the fuck she's taught. What rule book is she abiding by?
Right. Those aren't real. Those rules aren't real.
Right. And here's the thing. What she wanted is in her hand. Now, let's say she goes to the new city. Her fear is I go to the new city and I've wasted time.
If you're not enjoying it, break up with him.
Yeah, then you'll know within a couple months, but like, let's party in this. Let's dance at this party. The music's on. We don't need to go to another bar. Yeah. You're at the bar you wanted. It's like she said, oh, I want to go to a bar where we can dance and we can sit and then we'll be able to get some food. And then they have all that. And she's like, well, do we think this is like a good one? It's like you have it.
You know, I think it's like you forget. You forget the struggle of it when it's working out, and then you kind of always want more.
Right. Should we is a principle of this podcast that if you're gonna move, download the dating app immediately?
Yes.
I think that's
it'll be
the
a
move.
much better because I think the more you can, the principle behind that is that the more you can date without being outcome driven, the more you can date just for fun, having fun with it, the better you'll be at it.
Also, it's making you communicate. Hey, we're on this date.
It's making you more unattainable.
Right. Hey, I'll be leaving in 2 months. Oh, really? What's over there? A whole new life. A good life.
I mean, that's what people always want. That's the dream, is to date without the feeling of heaviness or like intensity
for
or
everyone.
pressure. Right.
Yeah, male, female, whatever you identify as. That is the what you want. You know, so
I think about that with like even with like betches, right? We started betches in college. We're just fucking around. Mm-hmm. That I think is part of the success. There's no like, I need this to feed my family. This better work. This blog better work. Like, you're
there's no begging there.
It's just fun.
Yeah.
And I think the more things you can do where they have the sense of playfulness and fun, the better they're going to be than if you're like clawing at making something work.
You bring up a great point. That's like a big thing with like, with like work is like a great comparison.
Totally.
You go, are you, comedy. Are you being funny? What are you complaining about? Have you been funny?
Right. Or are you outcome driven?
Right. You're worried about what? You haven't been funny.
Be funny and everything will come.
Right. This person is being fun and it's coming to them and they're pushing against it.
Ruining it.
Because it's not going exactly how they thought it should go. Dig into this.
Do some long distance. All right. Let's
do some awkward encounters. I was fresh out of a long-term relationship at the time and had started a situationship with a friend of my roommate. He was super hot, but we were only having late night hookups though. Every time I tried to set up a date, he was always too busy with work to make it happen. While I was still hooking up with him, I happened to match with his roommate on Tinder, also very hot. We had a flirty thing going on over text. When we saw each other in person, he was flirty, but he never initiated anything beyond harmless banter. So they all know they're doing something wrong,
Yes,
right?
every person in the situation, I think, knows
Right.
this.
After too many drinks on a Tuesday night, I went over to the guy's place. After we hooked up, he immediately fell asleep. At this point, I kind of felt shitty. I checked my phone and had a text from his roommate asking me why I didn't say hi on my way in. That's even flirty and
I mean,
deceitful.
This is all very
Icky.
yeah.
How come you didn't say hi on the way into sucking my roommate's dick?
But I also feel like she's like at a down point in her. Like she like is hooking up with this guy. She wants him to date her. He's not doing that. She goes over. They have sex. He immediately falls asleep. He's like, put less than zero effort into this thing.
Right. Well,
She's not feeling great about herself.
Totally. And this is icky, but no one's evil.
No.
You know, this is something everyone in this is like fun and young.
No one's
and
evil, right? Would it be nice if he didn't hook up with her, if he didn't want to date her? Yeah, but like he's not going to do that.
Right. Well, listen, a TikTok could be made about this where someone paints themselves the victim and we'd all take their side.
Sure.
But anyone could do that in this, except for the guy who's falling asleep after getting blown. But okay. At this point, I feel kind of shitty. I check my phone and I have a text from his roommate asking me why I didn't say hi on my way in, which is so funny. We flirt a little over text while she's in bed with the other guy. That's crazy. And I tell him I'm leaving and I'll see him around, but he tells me to come into his room and say bye before I go. I stumble around the first guy's room, and in my drunken stupor, I can't find the jeans I showed up in. I go over and knock on the roommate's bedroom door, and when he lets me in, he quite literally sweeps me off my feet, and we immediately start making out and taking off each other's clothes. It was to this day the hottest, steamiest sex I've ever had. We even ended up cuddling naked for what remained of the night afterwards. My 5 a.m. alarm the next morning was a rude awakening. To my horror, my jeans, my keys, and a few other things are nowhere to be found in the second guy's room. When I go out in the living room, I see the first guy has dumped a random pile of things I left in his room outside of his bedroom door. True gentleman. Including my keys, but no jeans. I go home. How does she go home jeanless?
Keyless.
No, she has the
Oh,
keys.
she has the keys.
She says, including my keys, but no jeans.
I don't know.
I go home and then go to work with deservedly the worst hangover of my life. At this point, I probably should have called my jeans a lost cause, but they were my favorite pair.
No.
So I decided to text the second guy and see when I can swing by their place to pick them up. He says I can get them the next day after work, and when I get there, he meets me at the door to pass off the pants. He was nothing but nice, but inside I was cringing, imagining what he thought of me after our escapade the night before. Even worse, when he hands me the jeans, I see someone has taken the care to wash and fold them. What a gentleman. I grab the pants, exchange some stupid pleasantries, and get out of there as fast as possible. I never texted either of them again, and I never got a late night invite over from the first guy again.
Seems fair.
Yeah, I think it's all. Let's just call this a clean break. Looking back, I'm kind of glad things went down the way they did so that I didn't waste any more time pursuing a guy who wasn't interested in me. C'est la vie, a double
C'est la vie.
dipping.
It's okay.
Oh, what is it?
C'est la vie. I'm getting ready
C'est
for
la
France.
vie? Oh, sorry.
C'est la-
That's the second time I've made that mistake on this podcast, I think, right? Oh, it's so embarrassing.
You're never going to get into a country club now.
No. No! C'est la vie, a double dipping bitch. What do you think?
I think this is one of those moments where you would probably be like, I need to get my shit together.
Right. Well, this is one of those moments where you're like, who amongst us
Hasn't fucked someone and their roommate?
hasn't gone door to door fucking. I don't know. It is one of these emails. I love this email because it just shows the humanity.
Yeah.
Like, no one's good, no one's bad in this. I get depressed by
It's a little depressing.
This?
A little
Oh,
bit.
not to me.
Oh, you don't think?
Everyone got off.
I think it's a little depressing because she's like doing it in a low moment of her life.
Sure. Who's to say they're not at a low?
Maybe.
The men are doing great.
This is a good story for them.
I mean, he's kissing her. He's like, why do you taste like nickels? Just full of his cum. So I don't know. It's just like one of those, like, to me, I'm like, good for everyone involved, but like, I'm happy she was broken of the spell.
Right. I'm glad that she got this isn't the way I would like recommend it maybe in a therapy session, but I would say this is at least she's moved on from this thing which wasn't going anywhere.
Right. And I guess,
Do you think the guy is mad? Do you think the roommate that she originally was hooking up with would be mad?
I wouldn't say he's happy. I don't think he's like high-fiving the guy who swept her off her feet, but I do think everyone lives in their mind's eye that they're the star of the movie.
Okay.
So it's like, I don't know if the first guy would ever like think of himself as like not as good as the second guy, even though it seems as though the second guy really fucked her. Right?
Right. I don't know.
She says it was the best. I don't think the first guy would have thought that she'd write in like the second guy was the best sex I've ever had. Like, I don't think he's thinking of it that way because he doesn't know. But I also, the second guy, he's really doesn't give a shit about anybody. Like, who's worse, the first guy or the second guy? The first guy for not dating her, or the second guy who's wooing her even while she's in the bed of his roommate?
They both seem a little predatory. I don't know. Maybe predatory is the wrong word, but they don't seem like the most upstanding citizens, either one of them.
No, but I don't know if the second guy, I don't think is thinking, oh, she's at a low point. She wants to date my friend like crazy. Like, they're late night hookups to them.
Right. But don't you think there's something weird about him texting a girl that his current roommate has just hooked up with?
Absolutely. I don't think he's not a piece of shit. I think he's a piece of shit for other reasons. I don't think it is predatory as much as I think of it as like,
right,
you're being a dick to your roommate.
They're all being kind of a dick.
Yeah, everyone's a dick.
Everyone's, yeah. I don't know. The story did make me a little uncomfy, but I see it's an experience, but I think that like, it's great that she's never spoken to anyone. I
agree with you. I guess I'm taking the route of least evil.
No, totally.
Which, again, someone could say there's an evil route. Of course. Mm-hmm. Liars exist everywhere. But I just...
Clean break.
Yeah, good for her.
I don't think they'll be dating.
No. Not the Our Story page?
No.
When we met, I was texting him from the bed of his roommate.
I mean, I'm sure some people it could happen.
It could happen.
All right, let's do another email. Hey, J&J, thanks for always being awesome and for reminding me it's okay to be single and not take things too seriously.
It's okay.
Just
don't say that to people. It sounds sad.
Don't say that to dates.
It's okay to be single. I don't care who knows it.
You have to say it.
I think it's okay.
I think it's okay too, but I
say it,
I wouldn't make it a banner that you're waving.
I saw someone with like hashtag single life, and I'm getting a lot because I'm doing the single pep talks.
Oh yeah.
And the pep talks are most meant to be just like fun, making fun of couples that are miserable.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people, the comments are like, "You're right."
Hashtag single life.
Right. It's like, okay, well, we can all agree that everyone's life is pretty mediocre and shitty.
Yes. I hope you guys enjoy this show.
Single or not.
I hope you got the pep talk you needed.
Yeah.
I moved to a smaller city to be closer to friends and get a fresh start. Not long after I met my current boyfriend on Hinge. Right from the start, he was the most caring person I'd ever met, and I thought he was worth the risk.
Guess all is good. They're married now.
About 6 months into our relationship, we went on a weekend trip for one of his friends' weddings. My first time meeting his friends. My boyfriend turned into a different person. He ignored me most of the time, only talking to me when I was the butt of some joke. I usually handle meeting new people well, but I felt so unsupported and like I was defending our relationship while he was making fun of it. I don't cry much, but I was on the verge all weekend and actually broke down a few times. The last straw was at a bar when I told him I felt like he hated me, and he responded with, "What, do you want me to touch you or something?"
Oh,
oof.
Oy, God.
After that scene, he was more apologetic, and I accepted it at the time. But when I got home and looked through all the photos from the trip, I noticed he was literally leaning away from me in every single one. I felt so stupid, like a complete joke to him. All the doubts and overreactions I had that weekend suddenly felt justified. I was ready to end things then and there, and I let him know how angry and hurt I was. To his credit, he listened, reflected, and has since been much more sensitive to my feelings. Things have been better since, and we've been taking the relationship more seriously. But here's the thing. I'm still scared that the rug is going to be pulled out from under me again. Every time his tone changes or he gets a little short, my anxiety spikes, and I can't help but feel like he's going to be mean to me again, even though I know it's my past trauma talking. Jared, should I have put more weight into it when he said his friends would describe him as an asshole? That's a warning if I ever heard one. And Jordana, if someone did this to you, what would you need to forgive them? I think I'm just asking, am I dumb for staying with him? Thanks in advance. Bet you doesn't get over anything.
Well, I'm sorry this happened. I don't think you're dumb.
No.
I think we act in our own best interests. And I think there's a piece of her that's like, I got a good guy that I can work with.
Right.
And
Like I said,
it's better than being single.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you said,
Right. I can work with this.
I can work with this.
We'll figure it out.
Right. And he made a mistake, but
it's a weird mistake.
Well,
let me ask you.
Okay.
Why would a man do this?
So I was thinking about this. You know what it made me think of? The woman who wrote in about her boyfriend who said that she was undateable.
Ugly? Too ugly to date?
Too ugly to date.
Yeah,
I was trying to be a little nicer. It made me think of that guy if he had not been found out.
At least that guy was nice to her face.
Right. But that guy, right. But that guy, it seems as though this guy has a persona with his friends. It feels young. It feels like they're in their like early 20s and getting out of college. And he's trying to keep up that persona as asshole friend. As he said, my friends would describe me as an asshole.
Right.
And he's never really played it out with a girlfriend in front of them. And I don't think she knows everything he's said about her.
Totally.
Like, I think he said that, like, yeah, we're just hooking up and I brought her to the wedding because I needed a date.
Even though it's his girlfriend?
I don't know.
To him?
That's
Right.
the only thing to me, this is all reason enough to end it.
Why would a man play down a relationship?
I guess.
If it's his girlfriend, it's not like he's worried that he's going to be rejected.
Right. I guess the only reason to play it down is that, like, you
Care what other people think?
Yeah, that's an immaturity. That could be it. I think also maybe there's people at the wedding that you have a history with that you wish you didn't, that you wish you'd kind of like pursued a little bit more.
Okay.
So there might be people at that weekend who
You're trying to show you're not quite in a serious
tied
relationship.
down.
Yeah.
That could be it. I'm going over, there's a series
Right.
of options. But I honestly, like, the fact that she's like giving him another chance, I don't know if the way to give him a chance is to just have him apologize.
Right. I think you'd need to know more about why he was acting this way.
Yeah, I would need to know more. I would have a lot more questions, and I would also need to like take a step back to do some things, like to see when he's going to bring me with friends. Like, just going on a date one-on-one isn't really a test
It
of...
doesn't tell you much now.
Right. I would want like a softer... Because she obviously thought they were at the point that they could go on a trip together and be great.
Yeah,
she
she was
wouldn't
probably
have-
that's probably another element to why she was so upset about this.
Right.
She was probably really excited. My new boyfriend is bringing me to a wedding. It's going to be like so fun.
Yeah, that's why this is like way more sad to me than the girl who fucked the two roommates. Like... Like I feel more for her than I do for the other woman. The other woman, like, she did everything. She had her own accord.
At least this girl has a boyfriend. So I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I think the other woman, like, she acted. She's an adult who was trying to.
Neither of these situations feel great for the person, but fine, sure.
Fair, but I don't know.
I think I
if
get
someone
what
did
she's
this
saying.
to you, I would take her question. If someone did this to you, would you forgive them?
I mean, I've dated many guys who've treated me like shit, so I can't say that I wouldn't like.
But you're not with the guy who treated you like shit.
Because he wouldn't date me.
Yeah, but those guys are never going to change.
Like, have I had low enough self-esteem to forgive this or throw it under the rug for, like, you know, at a certain time? Yeah, I'm not saying like this is crazy that she would still be with him thinking he might change or it was a blip in the radar.
No. I don't think she's crazy for that either. I can
should she
understand how
probably, like, again, having learned from those experiences, she should I agree with you. I think she should see how future interactions with his friends go before deciding one way or the other, because I think the tough part now is that the illusion is shattered. It's not, you know, that this is in it, like exactly what she said. You know that this is something he's capable of. You know, this is something that he has thought. and he could think it again, and he could act this way again. He doesn't, being super, like he told you he's an asshole. Being the most respectful guy in the room is not his MO.
Right. I just didn't, I didn't like the way she worded it. Not, I just disagree with it. Whether she's saying, she kind of like took the blame because of her own trauma.
No,
it's like, no,
yeah.
this is a guy who's an asshole.
And it's the same. It would be your trauma if it was like a different guy, different scenario, and you're kind of just remembering how awful that weekend felt.
Right.
It's the same guy. So the trauma is helpful for you to remember that.
Yeah. And it's also like, it's helpful. And it's like, I need to know what the fuck happened. Yeah. Like, I would be a little bit more assertive to like asking questions about this. And I know she's afraid of like I think she's in a position where she has to trust that if this guy really was for a relationship, he would discuss this with you in a way that's honest and vulnerable. You said he's reflective, but I don't really fucking buy it. Like, right. I don't know. You're still saying, well, maybe it's my past. No. What happened that weekend?
I think, right.
What was going through your head?
If he's truly reflective, then he's giving you an answer that can make you understand where his head was at and why he was doing the things he was doing. If he's, I'm sorry, I guess I was standoffish or I was rude, is not reflective enough.
No, because I would have a reason for everything I do. Mm-hmm. So I'm telling this to her. There's a reason, something, and this is me as a sensitive person because I just know, so was there, if the answer is from him, you have to understand, you have to think, can I handle that answer? Because if you can't handle that answer, you got to end the relationship. Yeah. Because the answer might be, like, a hypothetical.
There's a girl I used to
hook up with who was there, and you know what? I acted out of the box and I really, honestly, like, I didn't think I'd be that way. Like, that's a vulnerable answer.
Mm-hmm. Or,
girl,
I'm used to acting this way around my friends. They don't like to be vulnerable or showing that I liked someone around my friends is like kind of in the back of my head for some reason really embarrassing to me.
Right. They've never seen me that way before.
Yeah.
They've never seen me in that light. I think they're going to make fun of me. That's a vulnerable, right.
Yeah.
And that would be one where I'd go, I can understand that you guys stay together. He's still learning. He's 25.
Sure. Yeah.
If this is a 35-year-old guy who brought you to a wedding and is like, get away from me, nerd.
As you would do.
Right. That's my move.
Right.
But I would say then again, these things change, the would you, won't you, but I don't even think you have, this person doesn't sound like they have the information to make a decision.
Yeah, or you're getting the level of vulnerability that would be needed to move on from this.
Right. Like if he's 25 and he was like, I'm just not used to like being with a girlfriend for my friends. I've got self-conscious. I'm not proud of that. I thought they'd like make fun of me if I like acted like a different person than they've ever seen me. Okay, I understand that. Now let's go to dinner with your friends. And now let's see.
And you can make out with me the entire time.
Right. Touch my fucking leg.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, that's the process. Do you want to do that process? I don't know.
Is it worth it? Only you know that.
Right. Let's play some games.
Let's do it.
We are sponsored, people. Brought to you by NYX Cosmetics. Hope you've been stretching those swiping thumbs and readying your first date small talk, because cuffing season is coming up quick. But don't stress, you can find your perfect match with just one swipe. With NYX Cosmetics Buttermelt Blush, we've partnered with NYX Cosmetics to bring you some stories from the dating world that will make you blush. Whether you want to be single or partnered up this fall, it doesn't matter. Let's jump right into our first listener story.
All right, let's do it.
In 2020, midst of the pandemic, I met someone, we had dinner and great sex, planned to meet again. He lived 2 hours away and suggested a hotel for our second date. I wasn't sure why the hotel was necessary because it was the first time we had met at my place, but the sex was so good I was down. We had dinner and drinks and went back to the hotel. We're getting hot and heavy when he stops due to an abdominal cramp. Just such a weird way to abdominal cramp.
We're the most sensitive of of all podcasts. We're just giggling
right away.
This guy's pain.
I assumed it would go away quickly and we could resume. However, his pain seemed to get increasingly worse. He eventually ended up in the shower, screaming in pain. I offered to take him to the nearest hospital. He asked I called 911, so I did. EMTs came while he was in the shower. He was in so much pain he couldn't dress himself. I gave the EMTs his clothes and you dress him. They took him away and came back hours later completely fine. Never got an answer to what happened, but he reassured me he was okay. We did not resume sex, nor did I see him again because the night was so stressful. That is a weird end of the night.
Blushing moment.
Right. I've had stomach pains before.
Did you ever say call the ambulance?
No, I went in my bed. I sat in the toilet for the rest of the night.
I feel like I would have been like, can you call the cops and then leave so that...
Right. I would have gone downstairs, gotten another room.
I don't think
you take this bed. I'll get in that bed. Enjoy the HBO.
That's a great blushing moment. More for him, but also for her. I mean, you're kind of like, if I'm her, I'm kind of like, do I text him? I guess she waited for him to come back. That's nice.
Meeting at a hotel and never seeing each other again is just such a wild thing. Just like,
I don't think I've ever done that.
2 hours away, pandemic times. I don't know. This happens.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Have you ever done it?
No, I don't know.
You're afraid of someone writing in with
right,
a memory that you don't
maybe
have?
This is me. I feel like it's something I would have forgotten.
Right.
You know?
All right, let's do another one. J&J, thanks for all you do. A few years ago, I went on a first date with someone I met on Hinge, and things got awkward quickly. Within the first 15 minutes, he started talking about his ex cheating on him and even teared up.
Oh, no.
Despite the strange vibes, I stuck around. As we waited for the check, he went to the restroom. When he came back, he got down on one knee, pulled out a cheap-looking costume jewelry ring, and said, "This has been an amazing date, and I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Will you marry me?" I was in absolute shock as everyone in the restaurant started staring. After what felt like an eternity with him still on his knee, I eventually let out and, no.
I guess she's not in on the joke.
He quickly stood up and said, I was just kidding. I found this ring in the restroom and thought this would be funny.
Hey.
Ooh. Needless to say, I did not agree. To this day.
Me neither.
To this day, I wonder what he would have done if I had said yes. Jared and Jordana, do you think there was any girl who would find this funny? Would other guys think this is a hilarious prank? Sincerely, that's a no from me, dog.
It doesn't help that he was crying about an ex cheating on him earlier in the night.
This is all very cringy.
It's all cringy.
Front to back.
But it's like you can't go from like vulnerable crying to like, I'm going to fuck with you.
Yeah.
To hide my insecurities.
It's
just a weird back and forth. Yeah, I don't know. Get on a knee in a restaurant is just on a first date where you don't even know the like. I'm not
it's
doubting.
Embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's not. Here's the thing: if it was truly funny, it would still be kind of weird for a first date. Even if it was like actually hysterical, still weird.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound very funny.
No, it's embarrassing forever because I'm trying to think of when that would be funny ever. Because it's like a year in he does it. Now you're like, is he for real?
Right.
You know, one date in, you know he's joking, but no one in the restaurant knows he's joking.
It'd be funnier
so now
if
you
she
have
did
to
it.
be the asshole who says no to a guy.
It'd be funnier if she did it to him a year in.
Yeah, you're right. That's the joke.
Yeah.
This guy, he's a joke.
Very uncomfortable.
I'm blushing hearing the story.
Same. It all sounds extremely cringy. I don't know what he was thinking. Did he think he was going to be funny?
He doesn't. This guy was on one. I think like the problem with like dates is like you don't know when you're getting someone. Like
it's in the midst of a mental breakdown.
Well, first dates, you're either getting someone who's like, I need to just get back out there. I haven't been on a first date in forever. I was just cheated on. It's all bumper cars. You know,
doesn't know how to talk to anyone.
Right. I just need to I need to get reps.
Right.
You know, I was with my situationship. I need to forget about them. I'll go on a date. People use a date as some sort of like medicine for what ails them, and you're just using another person.
Right. That's
that's
almost the most annoying part of this thing. Is
right.
Like, this person is a joke.
Right. He is
so therefore you're a joke for being on the date with them.
Totally. He's so messed up by this cheating thing that he hasn't even evened himself out his ego out,
Right.
you know, because his ego is like, got to be funny, got to do a prank, got to get her back. After he cried in the beginning, like it's all crazy.
Yeah. All this to say, this guy is not ready to date.
No. To put it.
If you are crying when talking about a past relationship on a first date, you are not ready to date.
Right.
I think that is another J&J universal rule.
Right. And all you have to do is say, hey, this was really nice, and I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me cry on this date. I obviously need to take a minute. Can we get out of here?
I think I'm a little soon for me.
Yeah, and I think the other person would go, I totally understand.
Fair,
And
yeah.
they would actually be happy.
Yes.
I think the what this guy's trying to do is save the date.
It's not working.
No date can be saved. Thanks again to NYX Cosmetics for sponsoring today's episode. The new NYX Cosmetics Buttermelt Blush is here to help you get that perfect flush. I'm holding it in my hands. I got to say, good feel in the hands. I don't know if that
cozy?
Does that matter
Yeah.
Yeah, just-
Packaging is very important.
to in your bag and all this stuff. Like this would fit in a bag.
Yes.
With 12 shades in both soft matte and glowy finishes, you're bound to find your perfect match. And at just $10 per blush, that's pretty good.
Very good. Great. Affordable.
You can test out different shades before committing because you never know until you try. And let's be real, finding the right blush is way easier than finding the one. And you can try NYX Cosmetics Buttermelt Blush for yourself by visiting nyxcosmetics.com. That's nyxcosmetics.com. Well, we solved dating again, Jordana.
We did it, and we'll be back on Sunday.
Boom.
The You Up podcast is produced by Belle Roman and Candace Maniga. Edited by Belle Roman. Social media by Candace Maniga. Guest booking by Ali Friedlander. VP of podcast is Chris Allen. And be sure to follow You Up at you.up.podcast.